Day, Pete. First of all, the way Darius played tonight, also having to pick it up after Donovan gets ejected. Could you just address that?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was brilliant. He knew how important this game was to us and what we needed from him, and he set the tone early. And that's what leaders do. And he went out, he showed his guys, where his mindset was, and like they've done all year, they followed his lead.
Are you satisfied with the way the dust up or whatever you want to call it was officiated? Was that handled appropriately?
If you ask me my personal opinion, I would say no. Right? If somebody makes a play like that, you should have the right to stand up for yourself. It was a cheap shot in multiple ways. You roll a guy's ankle, and then obviously, whatever was next out of there, a guy should have the right to stand up for himself. And, I thought Donovan did that. That's one thing, I'm proud of our guys. We don't have, those guys that start shit, but we got guys that don't run from shit. And you have to in this league. You have to stand up for yourself. That's what he did, and then that's what his teammates had his back.
All right, stand out. Yeah, I'm trying to stand this well. Kelsey.
Kelsey's the Athletic following the ejection today in the third quarter and the fourth. What did you see just about how they responded to pull out the win the way that they did?
I think they did a great job of keeping their composure and understanding, what the main thing was. We still had to go out and win a basketball game. And, a lot of times, teams like that, they can use that as motivation and fuel themselves. That's a spark that they need. And you've seen that happen before. But I thought our guys did a great job of using it as a spark for us, and continuing to grind and get stops and do things that were necessary to win the game.
Did you guys have to have a conversation after that moment of just like sort of regrouping in a sense, or how to proceed?
Yeah, it was a conversation of how to use it, right? And to use that as motivation. And again, what it shows is, we don't back down from anybody, right? And you get into those moments, instead of getting on your heels, you just keep going forward. And I thought our guys did a great job of that.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. After the message that you delivered to teammates, would you say that this qualifies as the response you were looking for?
For sure. For sure. It's all about belief in self, right? It's all about finding the positive in what we're trying to accomplish. People who want to live in that negativity, right? They're not the ones in the arena every single night doing the job that these guys have to do. We know who our guys are. We know their character. We know what's important to them. We know how good they can be. And people who want to tear them down need to take a look at themselves and figure out, how you cannot find the positive in this team. They're fun to watch. They play the game the right way. They compete their tails off. We're not perfect, but, we are what a team should be. And, it's difficult for me and frustrating for me, to see people who want to tear this group of guys down when, they're examples of what young basketball players should look like, and guys that put the team first and play selflessly and play the game purely. Like those are the guys you should be highlighting. So that's our message. We'll keep pushing it.
And then one of the other things from yesterday, Ricky mentioned that he was probably a little bit further away from 100% than he realized when he came back. He had a pretty good night tonight. What are you starting to see from him as he starts to round into form?
He's got that Ricky magic, and like when he gets going and he finds that rhythm, he can just make play after play that impact the game. And, he loves to do it in the biggest and brightest moments. I think that's the thing about Ricky that stands out the most is, when the moment is the brightest, that's when he shines the most. And, we needed every play he made in the fourth quarter tonight. Game was on the brink, and he did a great job of help pushing it out.
Bob Lyria Chronicle. Do you think Garland used the All-Star snub tonight to get himself going?
I'm sure he did. In my mind, it's a little disappointing that he's not. I don't understand how he's not an All-Star. Again, you look at what he's done, how he's helped this team win, and that should be the priority. it's a little frustrating and disappointing that he was not on that team. But, we know how valuable he is and how important he is to us and to this group, on the court, in the locker room. And it is disappointing that it wasn't recognized, but he's our all-star.
Writer, 92 fan. JB, physicality is something you guys are going to be dealing with here down the stretch and to get ready for playoff basketball. Guessing tonight's game is a little taste of that, but just could you speak about just how your players responded in a positive way to that physicality and really asserted themselves?
Yeah, sometimes people mistake our kindness for weakness, right? We don't have those brash, trash talking, instigating type of guys. But what our guys are is physically and mentally tough. And they have a fortitude to themselves where they don't take steps backwards. It's a matter of, again, us experiencing these things together and understanding how we do just keep pushing forward and how you do set screens harder. You can't compete more to get yourself open. And I think, that's the message. It's fun in there. When you're playing in the trenches and it's physical and grimy, like that's the fun part of it. And I think our guys have embraced it.
And the way Mobley and Allen both play, you almost got 40 and 20 from them combined.
Yeah, they have an opportunity to be a dominant pair for a long time. We know what they can do defensively. We know how they can protect the paint, finish possessions by rebounding the ball. But they're a force to be reckoned with on the offensive end. You got decisions to make on how you're going to slow them down, how you're going to stop them, from putting that pressure on your paint.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, JB.
What's up, Chris?
Given the amount of talent in the NBA, do you think they should expand the All-Star roster to 15 or something more than 12 at this point?
I'm kind of an old school dude who doesn't like a lot of change. One thing that I would change more so is, the positions. There's so many guys who are positionless players. Like, let's just put the guys in, especially, if you're going to have a draft and pool the game anyway. Let's just get the guys that we think are the best players in and not have to do it by position. But, again, it is what it is. Again, disappointed in the way that it ended up, but those are the rules.
Darius, the way that you do you anticipate this as something that is going to fuel him in the second half of the season?
Yeah. He again, as kind and nice and polite as he is, he does have a killer instinct in him. And, whenever people overlook him, whenever people snub him, he uses that as fuel. And, people better watch out.
Understanding that you're trying to balance the rotation and stuff like that, and you do tend to use a tighter rotation. Is there anything that you can do to keep Jetty more permanent in the rotation?
Yeah, again, it takes away from obviously, people's minutes. But, again, he's earned it and he continues to earn it. So we'll have to work it out.
But JD, with Karis out tonight, well, Chris' question a little bit, how pleased were you with Jetty and even Dean stepping in to just fill those minutes?
I think Jetty was awesome. He gives us a force off the ball, and moving and running, and then defensively getting deflections and, turning our defense into offense. I thought he did a great job of it. Dean as well, gave us that spark, gave us that boost that we're looking for from him.
Just as a pure basketball lifer fan of this game, if you look at a team like yours or a team like Memphis, two pretty small market teams, but just so overwhelming with talent, what does that say to you about the state of the league?
The league's in a great place. And, I think, we've talked about that before. The disbursement of talent, it's up and down rosters. When you look at, opposing teams, like there's talented players everywhere. And talented young players that are going to be in the league for a long, long time. So the league is in a great place. The competition is great. And that's why, you respect in this league how hard it is to win because the talent is so thick and, it's not easy. No game is easy in the NBA to win. And I think people kind of lose sight of that and don't have a respect for how difficult it is to win. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Jimmy.
Get this out the way. I was gonna bring him to you. Let's get out the way. I'm losing money. Just let me know
Oh, Tom, it was AP. Did you feel that Dillon cheap shot at you?
Yeah, for sure. That's just who he is. You know, we've seen it a bunch in this league with him. Him and I have had our personal battles for years. Quite frankly, I've been busting his ass for years. Playoffs, regular season. You know, in the one game he does a high job on me today. You know, he decides to do something like that, and you know, there's no place in that in the game, and you know, you got to protect yourself at the end of the day. But this has been brewing for years. With me, with other guys in the league, and you all see it. You know, it's not something that this isn't new. And you know, tonight was just the end of it, but it's tough when you can't guard somebody and can't do something with somebody. You got to resort to that, and that's what he's done to a lot of players. You know, I off the top of my head, I think it's like Dame and Steph. You know, it's just one of those things. That's what you resort to, and that's cool. But I'm glad my guys held it down tonight, and you know, had my back. You know, throughout the whole thing.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Donovan. You said you've had matchups with him before. Have you ever had an
Yeah, we've been
altercation?
talking nonstop. I wouldn't say this to this extent, but there's always been talks. You can go back. I think it was like 2 years ago, regular season, like 30 points a game. Like it's nonstop talking back and forth, and you know that was cool when we were just talking. But that right there that's where you know the line has to be drawn, and the NBA has to do something about it. Because like I said, I'm not the only person this has happened to. There's no place for that in this game, and you know, like I said, I took matters into my own hands, but at the end of the day, like, you know, that ain't it.
Did you sense it building up throughout the course of the game?
I wouldn't say to that. I didn't think it was gonna be like that. You know, maybe the jawing back and forth, which is part of the game, and that's cool or whatever. You know, but like I said, when you have a cheap shot like that, because there was no need to do that. You know what I mean? So I wasn't expecting that, and then that's just how I reacted. But like I said, if you just can't guard somebody, then just say that and just get a switch. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it is. But it is what it is.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Do you think that the punishment was handled correctly in terms of, do you think you should have been ejected after that?
I don't know. I mean, honestly, I figured I would be just because of the escalation of the situation. If anything, I thought it'd be for the push, not the throwing of the ball, but, you know, I don't know the rules to that extent. I'm not typically someone who gets ejected for stuff like that. But, you know, at the end of the day, I think my reaction was honestly just for me reacting to a cheap shot. You know what I mean? And I think this, like I said, this has been a habit for years, and this isn't new to anybody in this room. And, you know, if punishment doesn't come from that, you know, it's just going to keep doing that, you know, and I really don't. It's just dumb, to be honest with you, just dumb. And like I said, it's just dumb. And, you know, I'm going to appeal it because I don't think I should have got ejected for defending myself, to be honest.
Do you think that Dillon should face further punishment from the league for this? And if so, what should that
I mean, I'm not going to say like, oh, it should be this, it should be that, but it should be something. You know what I mean? Like I said, this isn't just a Donovan thing. You know, this has happened to other players throughout this league. And it's bullshit, if we're being honest with you. It's complete bullshit. There's one thing, you know, you got Ja, you got Bane, you got Jaren Jack, those guys, like, they talk shit, and that's fine. Like, that's all part of basketball. We all grew up playing that way, but when you start doing little cheap shit, like, that ain't it. And that's honestly where my frustration lies. You know, it's not about the talking back and forth. That's whatever, the extra bumps, whatever, that's cool. But when you start doing little stuff like that, like, what are we really doing?
Kelsey.
Kelsey of the Athletic. What have the guys said to you in the locker room afterwards, or even after, like, on the floor as you waited for the ejection?
Yeah, I love my guys, man. They were watching it on the laptop. I'm trying to be all serious and whatnot, and they out there just like, oh, wow, and like saying, look who's here. And it was Robin Lopez who was the instigator, which was the funniest part about the whole thing, watching it, telling everybody, pulling everybody over, trying to show everybody the computer. Like I said, I love my guys, man. Like I said, they held it down for me. We got a talented group. We all felt Darius should have been an all-star, and he went out there and proved it tonight on the national stage. And, I think the biggest thing is we just find a way to win, and, we use that to our advantage and continue to compete. That's not a bad team over there. They're a really talented group, but at the end of the day, I'm probably going to get back at them. They're going to start yelling and screaming like they always do. And that's why I say I love my guys, and I'm appreciative of it for sure.
Happened in third quarter, so obviously didn't start. Have you talked to JB yet since it happened?
Not like face to face. Yeah, we said a little something, but nothing about that. Just more so, like I said, you just got to protect yourself at the end of the day. That's really all it is. And like I said, we got the win, so that's all that matters to me. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Doc. Kelsey, you're so the athletic first start in the game. What was your perspective of the scuffle and the ejection?
So with the scuffle. I mean, it was a dirty play from the other dude over there. Tried to hit him in his groin area, so just had to protect himself. Had to protect himself, and we just rallied behind him and protected our teammate. That's all it was. We're no sissies over here. We're not going for all the little cheap shots and stuff like that. So everybody's happy that Don did protect himself, and everybody rallied behind him as well. So it was a good team camaraderie right there.
Conversation between you guys and JB as well, just like after everything kind of settled down, the game that started back up to, I guess, use it as motivation for the rest of the game.
We just had to rally around each other. I mean, we just used that a little for motivation a little bit. And then we just had to keep our composure, really. There was a lot going on. We was sawed out for like 5-10 minutes, so everybody just had to stay loose and stay locked in as well. So that was just the entire message, just to go out there and win one for our teammate.
I mean, obviously got the win, but how do you think you guys responded in the way that you guys responded?
I think we responded really well. I mean, when Don went out, everybody else stepped up. Jetty came in, had a huge lift. Ricky, Jared came in, had some big blocks and big dunks. So the crowd got involved as well. So that's always like our sixth man. So it was really good. It was fun. There was some great energy out there.
Chris Fedor, Cleveland.com. Hey, Darius. Ever seen Donovan that heated before?
No, but it was good to see. It was good to see. For moments like that, like, you just have to get heated. So, I mean, he got heated, and that's all it was. It was good.
Were you surprised he was ejected? Did you anticipate that happening?
I was actually surprised. But, I mean, that's just how the game was going. Just what the consequences of that was, I guess. But he has to protect himself first. So whatever happened after that, it was just bound to happen.
Played against Memphis and Dillon Brooks many, many times. Like, what is it about him?
Nothing. This is our first interaction with him doing anything crazy. But, I mean, that's just, he's a physical guy. He's going to get under somebody's skin. But like I told our guys, like, we're not no sissies. We're not just going to back down or anything like that. So, like I said, I'm glad Don did respond and protect himself, and everybody else had his back.
Danny Cunningham, ESPN Cleveland. Could you sense chippiness in the game prior to that incident?
No, not really. Everything was really smooth. I mean, the arena was going crazy, but that was it. There wasn't nothing really chippy about it. But after that little incident, it did get a little bit chippy. Everything was more physical, and you felt the intensity on both sides of the floor. And we really like games like that. We want to be in games like that, so it was fun to be in.
Prior to the game tonight, you found out that you were not named to the All-Star team. Was that something that you used as fuel tonight? Is that something you plan on using as fuel moving forward?
You're the first person that told me that, so yeah, I will use it as motivation after the All-Star break. But I mean, it's whatever. We got other games to play. We got somewhere in what we want to get to. We're trying to get to the playoffs. So the All-Stars will come.
Yeah, how much can an incident like that really galvanize you guys? You mentioned that kind of needed a little bit of a physical game like that. Just, going forward, you're going to have to deal with physicality, not the cheap shot, but games where you be more intense physically. So how much can that really galvanize you guys?
I think it helped us a lot, actually. It brought us together. And we knew it. We had to be on the same cylinder throughout the second half. And I think that's what really took us over and extend that lead a little bit, because we were just so locked in. We was just focused on just getting the win instead of just worry about other things. So it was really good for our group.
We learned from it. So, I mean, it was a good learning lesson. I'm glad we got the dub.
So you mentioned that that you mistake your guys' kindness or your even keel approach on the floor for weakness.
Yeah.
How would you, I guess, describe the personality of this team?
I don't know how to describe it, but I mean, we some nice young men, you know. We some nice young men until you try to do some weird stuff like dude did over there. But yeah, I mean, we're still tough though. We're a tough group. You got some guys that get after you, and we're gonna fight back if you try to push us first. We know we're not soft or anything. We're still some dogs, as I always say, and we'll never back down from nobody. We'll never lay down for nobody, especially not them guys over there. We two of the top young teams in this league, so whenever we battle out, it's gonna be a tough one. And